At 38, Olivia Carter never imagined she'd hear that doorbell again. Standing in the hallway of her grand Atherton mansion, she froze. The chime echoed through marble floors and glass walls, the same kind of silence she had grown used to in her 15 years of solitude. Through the security screen she saw them. 4 familiar faces she thought she'd erased from her life forever. Her parents, her brother, and her sister, all standing at her gate, looking up at the life she had built without them. Their faces carried both awe and desperation. The family who once abandoned her had come back. Olivia whispered to herself, "Why now?" Her heart raced as memories she had buried came flooding back. She wasn't sure whether to open the gate or let them stand outside and taste regret. Olivia grew up in a quiet middle-class neighborhood in Chicago. Her father, Walter, was an engineer who worked long hours but always found time for her brother's football games. Her mother, Elaine, was a cheerful third-grade teacher loved by everyone, except her own youngest daughter. Olivia was the third child, far behind her siblings. Philip was the star athlete, Sophia the school beauty and pianist. Olivia, she was simply the quiet one. Even when she brought home perfect grades, her parents only nodded. When Philip did the same, there was cake, laughter, and a dinner at their favorite restaurant. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" her mother often said. "Sophia was playing Mozart at your age." Olivia learned early that being good wasn't enough. It had to shine through someone else's reflection. She remembered one day more clearly than any other, her 10th birthday. Her mother had promised a small party, balloons, and friends from school. Olivia woke up early, too excited to eat breakfast. But as she ran downstairs, she met her mother's calm announcement. "Sweetheart, we have to cancel. Philip has a championship game today. We need to support him." Olivia's lips trembled. "But Mom, my friends are coming in 2 hours." Her father's voice was stern. "Don't be selfish. Family comes first." The words cut deep because she already knew. Family never seemed to include her. That afternoon she sat on the bleachers while her parents cheered for Philip. No one mentioned her birthday. No candles. No song. That night, she ate leftover pizza in her room, whispering to herself, "Happy birthday, Olivia." Sophia, 5 years older, had perfected the art of cruelty. When her friends visited, she locked Olivia out of her room and whispered secrets that stopped the moment Olivia entered. "She's so dramatic," Sophia would say sweetly when their parents appeared. Olivia often cried alone, clutching her worn teddy bear while listening to laughter from the other side of the door. Philip wasn't cruel, just absent. He never defended her. "Ignore her," he'd say, eyes on his football trophies. The only warmth Olivia knew came from her grandmother, Eleanor. The old woman visited once a month, bringing cookies, hugs, and the kind of love Olivia never got at home. "You've got a special spark, Liv," she'd say. "One day the world will see it." Those words became Olivia's secret fuel, the quiet fire that kept her going. Years passed, and school became Olivia's escape. She buried herself in books and science projects, knowing knowledge was her ticket to freedom. Her father teased her for being too serious, but she didn't care. When she got into Stanford, she waited for their reaction, hoping for once they'd be proud. Her father only said, "That's far from home and expensive." Her mother sighed. "Maybe community college first." Olivia felt her throat tighten. "I got a full scholarship," she said quietly. For a second, silence filled the room. Then her father nodded, almost disappointed. "Well, I suppose that's good." That night, Olivia packed her suitcase with trembling hands. She didn't know it yet, but leaving that house meant more than starting college. It was the first step toward building a life without them. Stanford was everything Olivia had dreamed of: warm sunshine, palm trees, and freedom. For the first time in her life, she felt invisible in a good way. No one there knew about her family or the emptiness she carried. She spent long nights in the library studying computer science, fascinated by how invisible codes could build entire worlds. Sometimes she'd call home, but her parents were always too busy. When her father did answer, He talked only about Philip's job or Sophia's piano recital. "We're proud of everyone," he'd say, never mentioning her achievements. After a while she stopped calling. She made friends, joined the robotics club, and built things that worked, even when people didn't. Still, whenever she saw families visiting campus, something inside her ached. By the time Olivia graduated, she had honors and a job offer waiting at a tech startup in San Francisco. She called home to share the news. "That's nice, dear," her mother said flatly. "But don't forget, family comes first. When will you visit?" "Maybe after I settle in," Olivia replied, forcing a smile that her mother couldn't see. But life had other plans. A few months later, she got a call that shattered her calm. "Olivia," her mother said, her voice strangely cold. "Grandma passed away this morning." The phone slipped from Olivia's hand. Grandma Eleanor, the only person who ever made her feel loved, was gone. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she whispered, "No, no, not her." She booked the next flight to Chicago, her heart heavy with grief and questions. The funeral was quiet and gray. Olivia sat alone in the front pew, clutching a small photo of her grandmother. Her parents and siblings sat together, whispering among themselves. No one asked how she was holding up. After the service, they gathered at her parents' house for the reading of the will. Olivia sat near the corner, eyes red but silent. The lawyer began reading. Her mother got the house, Philip got the car, and Sophia got the jewelry. Then came a pause. "To my granddaughter Olivia," the lawyer read, "I leave my ruby ring and $5,000. You were always special to me." Olivia smiled weakly through her tears. Her mother scoffed. $5,000 and a ring. "That's it," Olivia whispered. "It's more than enough." She didn't know then that this moment would change everything. Her father's face turned red. "That's outrageous," he barked. Mother always spoiled Olivia for no reason. "For no reason," Olivia repeated, her voice trembling. "Maybe because she was the only one who treated me like family." Her father slammed his hand on the table. "Don't start, young lady. We took you in when no one else would." Olivia froze. "What do you mean, took me in?" she asked softly. Her mother shot her father a warning look, but it was too late. "You're not our real daughter," he blurted. The room went silent. Olivia's breath caught in her chest. "What?" Her mother sighed. "You were adopted when you were 2. Your real mother, my college friend, died in a car crash. We did what was right and took you in." Olivia stared at them, tears spilling down her cheeks. "You lied to me my whole life." Sophia folded her arms, rolling her eyes. "It wasn't a secret. Most of the family knew. Except me," Olivia whispered. "The one person it mattered to." Her father crossed his arms. "You should be grateful, Olivia. We gave you everything." "You gave me everything but love," she said. Her voice broke, but her anger burned stronger than her pain. "Did you ever love me at all? Or was I just charity?" No one answered. The silence was louder than shouting. Olivia stood up, her chair scraping across the floor. "You'll never see me again," she said, grabbing her coat. Her mother reached out. "Olivia, wait." "No," she cut her off, tears streaming freely now. "You made your choice a long time ago." She walked out of that house, out of their lives, and into a future she would build on her own. Olivia arrived back in San Francisco with swollen eyes and a heart full of pain. The city lights blurred through her tears as the cab rolled past tall buildings and glowing signs. She clutched her grandmother's ruby ring like a lifeline. That ring and $5,000 were all she had left. "You'll be okay," she whispered to herself as the taxi stopped in front of a worn apartment building. Her new roommates, Alice and Jordan, greeted her with warm smiles. "We share the rent and the chores," Jordan said, showing her the tiny kitchen. Olivia nodded. "That's perfect." The room was small, barely enough for a bed and desk, but it was hers. That night, as she lay awake listening to the hum of city traffic, she made a promise. "I'll build a life so good they'll wish they never let me go." The next morning, Olivia started her job as a technical support specialist at a small software company. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. Her manager, Mr. Coleman, handed her a headset. Answer calls, solve problems, and keep the customers calm. Simple enough, he said. Olivia smiled faintly. I'll do my best. The days were long and filled with complaints, but she tackled each issue like a puzzle. After work, while her roommates watched TV or slept, she studied. She taught herself coding, encryption, and data security. You never stop, do you? Alice asked one night, half asleep. Can't afford to, Olivia replied with a tired grin. Every hour she spent learning felt like a brick added to the foundation of her new life. 6 months later, Olivia attended a free cybersecurity seminar at the city library. The speaker, Professor Diana Chan from Berkeley, talked about digital privacy and human behavior. Olivia listened closely, her mind racing with ideas. When the crowd thinned out, she walked up nervously. Professor Chen, your talk about behavioral authentication, it's fascinating, she said. Diana smiled. You understand it. I think I do. Passwords can be stolen, but behavior can't be copied. Diana's eyes lit up. That's a clever way to put it. Are you in the field? Trying to be, Olivia admitted. I work in tech support. Keep learning, Diana said kindly. And come to our next hackathon at Berkeley. You might surprise yourself. Olivia thanked her and left, feeling like a door had just opened in her future. The hackathon was crowded with young coders, laptops glowing and energy buzzing in the air. Olivia felt out of place at first, but she joined a small group working on a financial app's security flaw. Let's try tracking user behavior instead of just passwords, she suggested. The team followed her lead, and by morning, they had found a major vulnerability. Their solution won third place, and caught Diana's attention again. You've got talent, Diana said after the event. Don't waste it. From that day, Diana became more than a mentor. She became a friend. She invited Olivia to conferences, shared resources, and introduced her to other professionals. You see what others don't, Diana told her once. That's your gift. Olivia smiled. Maybe that's because I've been invisible most of my life. Encouraged by Diana, Olivia started developing her own cybersecurity idea. Software that identified users based on behavior, not passwords. She spent nights coding, days working, and weekends bartending at a tech hangout to save money. One evening, a man sat at the counter and struck up a conversation. You really think passwords will disappear someday? He asked. Maybe, she said, pouring him a drink. People's habits tell the truth better than their words. The man smiled. You sound like someone who's been studying this for years. Just a few sleepless nights, Olivia replied. 2 weeks later, that same man introduced himself properly. Name's Travis. I invest in startups. Show me your idea. Olivia blinked. Are you serious? Dead serious, he said. I like people who build from nothing. Travis kept his word. After reviewing her proposal, he transferred $200,000 into a business account. It's not much by Silicon Valley standards, he said, but it's enough to start. Olivia could hardly breathe. Thank you, she whispered. Don't thank me yet, he said. Prove me right. She quit her tech support job the next day and rented a small co-working space downtown. The walls were bare, the desk second-hand, but it was hers. She named the project Secure Now. Each day she coded for 16 hours straight, fixing errors and testing features. When things broke, she whispered to her grandmother's ring. I can do this. Sometimes she slept on the office couch, waking to the glow of her computer screen. The hunger to succeed burned brighter than her fear of failure. Months passed, and finally, Secure Now had a working prototype. Travis arranged a small investor demo. Keep it short, keep it clear, he advised. Olivia stood before a dozen suited men and women, her hands trembling slightly. Passwords are outdated, she began. Behavior never lies. She showed how her software identified users through typing rhythm, mouse movement, and microdelays. When she finished, the room was silent. Then one investor leaned forward. "This could change everything," he said. Another nodded. "We're in." That night, Olivia walked along the pier, wind in her hair, tears in her eyes. "You did it, Grandma," she whispered to the stars. It wasn't just a business. It was proof that she could create something powerful from pain. Within a year, Secure Now grew from a 3-person team to 30 employees. Major tech companies wanted licensing deals. Olivia's office buzzed with excitement and late-night pizza deliveries. She walked through the rows of desks, smiling. "You're not just workers," she told them one day. "You're family." Her staff cheered. Diana visited often, watching Olivia transform from a quiet coder into a confident CEO. "You've built something special," Diana said. "Not just software, culture." Olivia nodded. "I wanted a place where people feel seen." And they did. Birthdays were celebrated, efforts were noticed, and no one felt invisible. Every success reminded Olivia of what love and belief could build. When Secure Now hit a $100 million valuation, she smiled quietly and said, "See, Grandma? You were right all along." But success couldn't erase loneliness. Olivia moved into a luxury condo overlooking the bay, yet her nights were silent. She'd scroll through social media and see her siblings smiling in family photos. "Complete family," the captions read. Stung every time. One night she saw a post. "Sullivan family reunion. So blessed to have everyone together." Everyone but her. She shut her laptop and stared at her reflection in the glass. "You don't need them," she told herself. The next morning she decided to buy a real home. A sanctuary, not just an address. Weeks later, she stood before a sprawling estate in Atherton. $15 million, said her agent. Olivia smiled. "It's worth it." For the first time, she wanted a place that truly reflected peace, not pain. Over the next 6 months, she redesigned every inch of the mansion. The grand dining room became her home office. The East Wing a private library filled with books she once dreamed of owning. In the garden, she built a stone bench engraved with her grandmother's name, Eleanor Grace. It was her quiet tribute. "You'd love this place," she whispered, touching the ring on her finger. Secure Now had 500 employees and offices in several countries. But despite her wealth, Olivia stayed humble, mentoring young women in tech and funding scholarships for foster children. When asked why, she always answered softly, "Because I know what it's like to feel unwanted." On quiet mornings, she'd sit by her garden window, watching sunlight spill across the roses, believing the past had finally let her go. 15 years had passed since Olivia had last spoken to her family. One quiet Sunday morning, she sat on her terrace with a cup of coffee, wearing her silk robe, watching the hummingbirds dance around the flowers. The peace felt absolute. Then the sound of the doorbell shattered it. Her security tablet lit up. She reached for it absent-mindedly and froze. There they were, standing at her gate. Her father, older now, hair fully gray. Her mother, her pearls still shining like a memory. Philip, heavier and tired-looking. Sophia, perfectly styled as ever, holding 2 young children by the hand. Olivia's coffee slipped from her fingers and crashed onto the stone floor. "No," she whispered, her heart pounding. 15 years of silence, and suddenly they were here. She stared at the screen for several seconds, her mind racing. "Why now?" she murmured. Part of her wanted to ignore them, to let them stand there until they left. But another part, the same small, foolish child who had once craved their approval, wanted to know why they'd come. With a slow breath, she pressed the intercom button. "Can I help you?" Her voice was calm, but her hands trembled. Her mother's voice crackled through the speaker. "Olivia, it's Mom and Dad. We were hoping we could talk." Olivia hesitated. Talk? After 15 years. Her father's voice came next, tired and soft. "Please, Liv. Just a few minutes." Against her better judgment, she pressed the button that opened the gate. "All right," she whispered. "Let's see what you want." Olivia rushed upstairs, changing into jeans and a white blouse. She brushed her hair quickly, staring at herself in the mirror. "Don't let them see you nervous," she said under her breath. When the doorbell rang again, she took a deep breath and opened the door. Her family stood on her marble porch, looking small against the grand house behind her. "Wow," Philip murmured, glancing up at the tall windows. "You live here." Olivia folded her arms. "Apparently." Her mother stepped forward, eyes glistening. "You look wonderful, dear." Olivia stepped back slightly. "Thank you." Her father nodded stiffly. "We saw your article in the Wall Street Journal. We thought it might be time to reconnect." Olivia's stomach twisted. "Reconnect," she thought. "Or collect." "Please come in," she said out of habit, gesturing toward the living room. The marble floor gleamed under the morning light. Her guests moved cautiously, as though afraid to touch anything. "This is impressive," her mother whispered. "You've done well." "Thank you," Olivia said flatly. She gestured toward the sofa. "Coffee." "Water." "Coffee would be lovely," her mother said. Olivia escaped to the kitchen, her heart pounding. She leaned on the counter and whispered, "You can handle this." When she returned with the tray, she caught her mother watching every corner of the room with wide eyes, while Sophia's children peeked at the crystal vases and paintings. Olivia placed the cups down. "So," she said, sitting opposite them, "what brings you here after all these years?" Her mother smiled faintly. "We've missed you, Olivia." Olivia blinked. "Missed me?" she asked. "That's strange. I don't recall any calls, letters, or birthday cards." Her father cleared his throat. "We didn't know how to reach you." "My email hasn't changed in 15 years, she replied sharply. Philip leaned forward. "We've been following your success. We're proud of you." "Now you're proud," Olivia said quietly, her eyes hard. "Not when I was a kid or when I graduated or when I built this company. Only now when I'm rich." Silence filled the room. The only sound was the faint clink of the coffee spoon in her cup. Then her father finally spoke. "Olivia, we also came because we need help." There it was. The truth. Olivia leaned back. "Help?" she asked. Her father sighed. "Financial help. My company went under last year. We're in a difficult spot." Philip added, "I lost my job in tech. I'm trying to freelance, but it's not enough." Sophia's voice trembled. "Harold left me. The divorce is complicated." She looked at her children. "They need stability." Olivia stared at them in disbelief. "You came here to me for money?" Her father nodded slowly. "We were hoping you could loan us a couple million to restart the family business." "The family business," Olivia repeated. "The one that never included me." "You'd be a silent partner," her mother said quickly. "It would bring us all back together." Olivia almost laughed. "Together," she whispered. "Now that I have something you want." She stood, crossing her arms, pacing the room. "Let me understand this," she said. "You cast me out, erased me from your lives, ignored me for 15 years, and now you want my money?" Her father's jaw tightened. "We're still your family." Olivia turned sharply. "Are you? You made it clear blood mattered more than love. You told me I wasn't one of you." Her mother's eyes filled with tears. "We were wrong. We just want to make things right." "Make things right," Olivia repeated softly. 15 years too late. Sophia looked away, ashamed. "It's not like that, Olivia. You're twisting everything." Olivia met her gaze. "No. I'm finally seeing everything clearly." "Please," her father said, trying to keep his voice steady. 2 million would change everything. You'd be helping your family rebuild." Olivia tilted her head. "Would I get that help if the situation were reversed?" He looked down. "That's not fair." "No," she said, her tone sharp as glass. "What wasn't fair was a 10-year-old's birthday being forgotten because her brother had a game. What wasn't fair was being treated like I was lucky to exist." She glanced toward the garden visible through the tall windows. Do you even remember Grandma Eleanor's ring? Her mother frowned. What does that have to do with this? Everything, Olivia said softly. She was the only one who saw me, and you hated her for it. Sophia's voice rose. We didn't hate her. She just made you think you were better than us. Olivia laughed bitterly. No, she made me believe I mattered. There's a difference. The room fell silent again. Her father rubbed his forehead. You're being unreasonable. Olivia stepped closer, her voice calm but dangerous. Unreasonable is showing up after 15 years to beg for money. Unreasonable is pretending I still owe you loyalty after the way you treated me. Sophia's children looked confused, clinging to her hand. Olivia's gaze softened as she looked at them. They didn't ask for any of this, she said quietly. I won't punish them for your choices. Sophia whispered. What are you saying? You'll see, Olivia replied. Olivia walked to a shelf, pulled down a leather-bound album, and placed it on the coffee table. Let's take a walk down memory lane, she said. Her family exchanged puzzled looks. She opened the album to the first page. A printout of a Facebook post. Thanksgiving 15 years ago, Olivia said evenly. 3 months after you told me never to contact you again. Grateful for family today and always. Everyone smiling. Everyone except me. She flipped another page. Christmas, birthdays, weddings. All photos she had collected quietly over the years. Why do you have these? Sophia asked. Olivia smiled faintly. Because I'm in cybersecurity. I keep records. Her father frowned. This is childish. No, Olivia said, eyes blazing. This is what family looked like without me. You called it complete. Now tell me, why should I help you rebuild what you never let me be part of? Her mother covered her face with trembling hands. Olivia, please, we didn't mean for things to turn out this way. Olivia closed the album gently. But they did. And none of you ever tried to make it right. She opened her laptop next. Here's something else you might remember. She clicked, and her father's old email appeared on the screen. Please do not contact this family again. Respect our privacy. She read it aloud slowly. Her father looked down in shame. You were angry, he muttered. No, Olivia said. You were cruel. She turned the screen again, showing a message from Sophia years later. An email mocking her success. Funny, isn't it? Olivia said softly. You once called me a freak for being different. But now you want a piece of my company. Sophia's cheeks flushed red. I didn't mean it that way. You meant every word, Olivia replied coldly. But it's all right. I stopped needing your approval a long time ago. Her voice steadied. Let me make this very clear. There will be no loans, no shares, no family business revival. Her father stood, his face turning red. After all we did for you, what exactly did you do for me? Olivia cut in, her voice rising. You reminded me every day that I didn't belong. You told me to be grateful for scraps of love. You taught me that family doesn't always mean kindness. And you know what? You were right because you aren't my family. Not anymore. The silence that followed was heavy and final, like a door closing forever. Her father's voice cracked. We gave you a home. You gave me a roof, Olivia replied softly. A home is built with love, not guilt. Her mother wiped her tears, whispering, We made mistakes, Olivia. We're sorry. Olivia met her gaze. Are you sorry because you hurt me, or because I became successful without you? No one answered. The air between them grew still. Finally, she sighed and looked at Sophia's children. Jackson, Emma, she said gently. I'm your Aunt Olivia. We've never met, but I'd like to get to know you someday. The little boy smiled shyly. The girl whispered, Hi. Olivia's voice softened. You didn't do anything wrong. I want you both to have every chance in life that I never got. Then she turned back to the adults. I'll set up education funds for your children, she said calmly. They'll be able to go to any college they choose with no worries. but the money will go straight to their education. You won't touch a cent. Ophia frowned. We don't need your charity. It's not charity, Olivia said firmly. It's protection for the next generation, from the mistakes of the last. Her father exhaled heavily. So that's it. After everything. That's it, Olivia replied. You came here for money. You'll leave with a lesson. She stood tall, her eyes clear. I built this life without you, and I'll continue it without resentment. But don't mistake forgiveness for weakness. Her mother began to cry again, her voice shaking. Olivia, please. Can we at least start over? Olivia's expression softened but remained steady. You can start over, she said. With yourselves. But my peace isn't a door you can just walk through again. Her father clenched his fists. You've become heartless. No, Olivia replied quietly. I've become free. She walked to the door and opened it. My assistant will contact you about the education funds. Goodbye. Her family hesitated, sensing the finality in her tone. Slowly they walked toward the driveway. Just before leaving, Sophia turned back, tears in her eyes. For what it's worth, she whispered. I'm proud of you. Olivia nodded faintly. Then prove it by being better for your kids. The door closed behind them with a soft click. Olivia leaned against it, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. But they weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of release. 15 years of silence, anger, and longing dissolved into one deep breath. She whispered to herself, It's over. She walked through the quiet house, past the memories that no longer hurt, and out into the garden. The evening light painted everything gold. She sat on the bench by the flowers, the one dedicated to Grandma Eleanor. I did it, Grandma, she whispered, twisting the ruby ring on her finger. I finally stood up for myself. The breeze carried the scent of roses through the air, soft and warm like her grandmother's embrace. Her phone buzzed. It was Diana. Hey, Liv, came the gentle voice. You okay? Not really, Olivia admitted, her voice shaky. They came today. My family. Oh, Liv, Diana sighed. Want me to come over? Please. Half an hour later, Diana arrived with 2 cups of coffee. She found Olivia in the garden, still wearing the ring and a faint smile. So, Diana said, sitting beside her. How bad was it? Olivia let out a small laugh. They wanted $2 million and shares in my company. Diana blinked. That's bold. Olivia chuckled softly. The audacity almost impressed me. They both laughed, the tension melting away. For the first time that day, Olivia felt light. You know, Olivia said after a while, for years I dreamed of them regretting everything. I thought seeing me successful would make it all better. And did it? Diana asked. Olivia shook her head slowly. No. Their regret doesn't heal anything. It just proves they never understood love. Diana nodded thoughtfully. Because love isn't about needing someone. It's about choosing them. Olivia smiled faintly. Exactly. And I've finally chosen myself. The sky dimmed, the first stars peeking through. You're strong, Liv, Diana said softly. No, Olivia replied, looking at the glowing horizon. I'm finally at peace. They sat in silence, watching the sunset, the air filled with the quiet hum of new beginnings. Weeks later, Olivia launched the Eleanor Grace Foundation, a charity for foster children and adopted teens who felt abandoned or forgotten. At the press event, she stood on stage and spoke from the heart. Family is not always blood, she said. Family is who stands beside you when you have nothing to give. The audience applauded, many wiping their eyes. Olivia looked up at the giant screen behind her, displaying her grandmother's name in bright letters. This is for you, Grandma, she whispered. That night, letters began pouring in from young people around the country. Stories of resilience, loss, and hope. Olivia read every one, her heart full. She finally understood what her pain had prepared her for, to turn rejection into compassion. Months later, she hosted a small garden party at her home, not for investors or journalists, but for friends. Diana, Travis, her employees, and the foundation's volunteers filled the air with laughter and music. As twilight fell, Olivia stood by her grandmother's bench, gazing at the faces around her, the family she had chosen. "You were right, Grandma," she whispered. "True family is built, not born." She touched the ruby ring, its red stone glowing in the light. The wounds of her past had finally become scars of strength. And as the night filled with laughter, she smiled through tears of gratitude. For the first time in her life, Olivia Carter felt whole, loved, free, and finally home.